everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Saturdays with Dad. So today's video is going to be a bit different. Today we're going to be talking about your favourite gigs that you have attended, and you've attended many in your lifetime.
Yes, there's been quite a few, I'd say, over the decades, and you know, I thought it'd be a difficult thing to do because I've been to so many good gigs, but I think it was quite easy. It ended up being quite easy, really. I don't really want to categorise because they're all so good in their own different ways, but so what I would definitely look at, let's say number 10, would be the Metallica gig that we saw in Twickenham.
So 2019 Metallica at Twickenham Stadium.
Yeah.
Very good gig that was.
It was very good. It was a nice evening. The band were really on it. And also there was some amazing fireworks and everything.
Oh yeah, that was something that they didn't have when we saw them 2 years prior at the O2. They didn't have the fireworks.
But that was good, and also I just loved the introduction of the band. You know, the sound of the spaghetti westerns. You know, the Ennio Morricone soundtrack.
Yeah,
really.
I think
good.
I preferred the set list as well this time round because they played more of a variation. Whereas when we saw them in 2017, it was just like, I think this was part of the Hardwired tour, but they played less from Hardwired and they played some of the older classics and stuff like that. I mean, they played The Unforgiven.
Yeah.
That time rather than 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I always like the kind of, what do you call it? Like, in memory of kind of thing to Cliff Burton every time they do it.
Okay, yeah, the eulogy to
yeah, they always
Burton.
play something.
Yeah.
Like one of his bass lines. I think they might have played Orion.
Yeah.
That one time.
They did. They played Orion.
And then the one in 2017, I will give them that, is they played Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth in parentheses, which is a great track as well. But yeah, there we go. Metallica 2019.
Yeah, at Twickenham's rugby stadium. So the next one, I'm just going to go through the sort of like the fairly recent ones first.
Yeah. The
next one were the Tedeschi Trucks band at the Palladium.
Yeah.
I think we sat down. People who watch this. That
was the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People who watch this channel probably know them very well. He is without doubt one of the best guitarists in the world at the moment. And we went to see them at the London Palladium, and they were just incredible. I mean, the first track they played from their new album, they played it, and then as soon as he started playing, you and I just looked at each other and go, my God.
It was a good introduction. That was a great concert, actually. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, and, you know, the thing about it, the band is so good as well, which is just fantastic.
They had a brass section.
Oh, it was really good. And, you know, there's Susan Tedeschi, who I think is one of the great guitarists, and what a voice as well. Absolutely brilliant.
So that's Tedeschi Trucks band at where?
The London Palladium. I'm going to go for, I'm sorry to say this, but Tedeschi Trucks and Blackberry Smoke.
That was the second time we saw them.
The second time at the Wembley Arena, which used to be the Empire Pool Wembley.
So that one had a different name. Okay.
That was fantastic. I mean, again, what can I say? You know, Derek and Susan just knocked it out of the park again. But Blackberry Smoke were unbelievable, and they just came and played all their good stuff. You know, Waiting for the Thunder, and then we were watching one jam towards the end of the set, and all of a sudden I said, "Oh, Neve, I recognise that." They started playing When the Levee Breaks, didn't they?
Yeah.
They did
I
a
remember that.
really good version of When the Levee Breaks.
And the crowd went a bit loud.
Yeah, that's right. So they were very good. And Charlie Starr, who's the sort of main singer and lead guitarist for Blackberry Smoke, came and with Derek Trucks when the Tedeschi Trucks band were playing. So, another very, very memorable night for me. This is probably not going to fall into what generally you would like, Neve, but I think you quite enjoyed it. The Doobie Brothers.
Yeah, I remember that was in Manchester.
We saw them in Manchester at the Apollo Manchester.
I remember very vividly before the gig, but before we actually went in, there were so many people crammed into that little like cottage pub.
Yes.
And someone pointed out my Metallica shirt. I think quite a few people actually pointed out my Metallica shirt. There are people who had been to the gig.
Yeah.
That was the 2017 one.
Yeah.
But that's different. I think I was the youngest person there. I think we keep saying that. I think
yes, you definitely were, but it was to me the reason why I liked it so much was it was just like harkening back to the old Doobie Brothers, pre-Michael, before Michael McDonald.
Yeah.
But when it was like Tom Johnston who was in the band, but obviously Patrick Simmons, and it was just a really good concert, and I think they played a lot of their old. That's the reason why I liked it so much, is that they played a lot of their old stuff.
Did they play anything of the 80s?
Yeah, I think they played one song.
Was that your toilet break?
Yeah, could have been. I don't know. But I mean, they were played all sort of Long Train Running. Listen to the music. They played some great stuff. All that sort of early Doobie Brothers stuff. To the Captain and Me, Stampede, and Tom Johnson. It was good to see him back in the fold again.
Yeah.
And of course, he's got a great voice, and to the harmonies there are absolutely fantastic. So the next one is. I'm going to go back now into the 90s. One of the best gigs, I used to work in Hamburg in Germany.
Yeah.
One of the best gigs I've ever seen. It was Radiohead at the Markthalle in Hamburg. I think the Benz, everybody knew about.
Yeah, but OK Computer hadn't.
OK Computer hadn't been released. And the good thing about that venue was very intimate. It was a little hall next to the railway line, and while it was fairly busy, it was just brilliant. I mean, and because it was quite a small venue, so you were really right up and personal with the band on and everything.
What year was that?
1996, I think. It was 1996.
Yeah.
And they played all sorts of stuff from the Bends.
Pablo Honey.
And Pablo Honey, Creep, and things like that. And they did a really good version of Nobody Does It Better by the Carly Simon song, which is a Bond song, right at the end as an
encore.
As an encore, but things like My Own Lung,
They played all that stuff.
Oh, it was just they played all of that.
Did they play Street Spirit?
They did,
That's my favourite.
That's very very good. And altogether, it was a completely memorable evening. I was there with. I just started going out with Mum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we were there.
Was it just you, or was it like a big group of you?
There was a few of us there.
Oh,
It was very very good. We're probably now going to go further back into the 70s. Yeah.
All right.
And there were two Nebworth gigs. So I'm going to go the first one, which was in 1979, which was Led Zeppelin at Nebworth.
The headliners.
They were the headliners. There's a few good. I can't remember really who was in the support on that day, but I just remember Led Zeppelin, and it was the great Led Zeppelin lineup with the late lamented John Bonham. They were just Led Zeppelin, isn't it?
Yeah, there's not much else to say.
Well, not much else to say. They came on as the evening was the evening was coming down, and they were just amazing. It's, as I say, it's Led Zeppelin, and they played all sorts of stuff, rock and roll. It's obviously a whole lot of love, Stairway to Heaven, I think they did it actually that night. They did the When the Levee Breaks, but I can't remember. But they were fantastic.
And the other one?
Was Genesis at Nebworth in 1978. And it was literally just after Steve Hackett had left the band.
Okay.
And and it was now that Phil Collins was put on the lead singer.
Yeah.
And they had I think Chester Williams on drums, and also Daryl Sturmer from the US. These are both who was doing the guitar work. That obviously Steve filling into Steve Hackett, and they were fantastic. Afterglow right at the end, and the light show right at the end. I mean, because it was quite picturesque. Nebworth, it's set in the sort of Bedfordshire countryside.
Yeah.
And as night came down, it was just an amazing gig, and they were very, very good indeed.
All right, that's cool.
So that was Genesis, in 1978. Basically, the Grateful Dead, the Alexandra Palace in 1974. It was with the Dead's new systems, like the PA system and everything like that.
Yeah.
At the back of the Alexandra Palace were these huge banks of speakers and everything like that.
Yeah.
And it was the alley pally was there were no seats, so people just sat on the floor or sat on the floor. The Dead came on late. I mean, they came on very late, but to me, it was just well worth it. But and that was the newish lineup with Keith and Donna Godchaux in it. No, they were very good. They came on, played Deal. They played a load of stuff from Dark Star and everything like that. And a totally memorable gig. And so that was the Dead at the Alley Pally.
And what year was that?
1974. I would say the Dead again. But this was a slightly better gig. Was in their what I would call triumphant European tour in 1972.
Oh, yeah.
And all the Deadheads out there know there's the album out there. In fact, there's a great album that's going to come out in Record Store Day, isn't it?
Yeah,
the entire gig of their Paris
tour.
Paris gig of their European tour.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it was one big set list.
Just one big set. And the Dead were incredible. Now, of course, Ron McKernan, Pigpen, was alive then, and he was playing the keyboard and obviously the harmonica and singing. They were just amazing. Cumberland Blues. I mean, Phil Lesh. Phil Lesh is, to me, the benchmark bass guitarist. He's like one of these guys, and it's a bit like Les Claypool, who play the bass as if they're playing a lead guitar.
Well, you could say that for most prog bass players.
Yeah, and Geddy Lee's like that as well. I mean, all these fully adapted, fully talented bass guitarists, there's so much more to the bass guitar than just filling out the sound. It's that they participate in lead solos and things like that, and they were great. I mean, they were wearing masks and things like that. It was really bizarre, but that they were good. It's the Dead. What can I say? It was just an amazing gig. I was very, very young when I saw them there. I think I was only 16, just over 16 years old. But no, again, well worth seeing. And so that was the Grateful Dead. It was early April 1972.
What was the venue?
The Empire Pool, Wembley, which is now the Wembley Arena.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
Right. I think I'm going to go over 10 because I suddenly remembered I've forgotten it.
What's that?
Going to now put in Todd Rundgren's Utopia at the Victoria Palace in 1977. It was just a blast of American progressive rock with the Todd Rundgren surrounded by incredible musicians. Talking about bassists, just now about Phil Lesh. I mean, Kazim Sultan, who's the Utopia bassist, was incredible. absolutely incredible. And Todd was on top form. I mean, it was literally they were promoting the album Ra that had just come out, which was very proggy, all about in Egypt and everything like that, and mystique. And of course, there's Todd's voice, which is unbelievable. They ended up playing part of the Icon as well, which is just one of progressive rock's great tracks. And so that was 1977, Todd Rundgren's Utopia.
What venue was that?
Victoria Palace.
Honourable mentions?
I've got the great. I'm holding back for the greatest gig I've ever been to.
Yeah. Which I think I might know which one that is.
Yeah. But certainly I would say The Clash, 1979.
Yeah.
I went with some buddies down. We drove down to Brighton to the top ranked ballroom suite, and it was just, I think it was the beginning of 1979.
Okay.
And all the group came on stage to literally a drenching of spit. People just kept spitting on them. But it was literally, they were promoting this time London Calling, the album, which was just released.
Okay, yeah.
And they were very, very good. Very good. Before we got to the gig, I had no interest in going into the front with getting myself covered in spit. And in fact, it was so. I mean, Joe Strummer said halfway through the gig, "For God's sake, stop it!" Because they were literally sliding about the place. It was awful, but it didn't stop the actual gig being absolutely brilliant. But just before the gig started, we were having a pint at the bar at the back of the circle area.
Yeah.
And Mick Jones came, had a drink.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was very good. But as I say, it was very good. It had all the stuff that they were playing, Guns of Brixton, London Calling, obviously, Rudy Can't Fail. It was just incredible as well.
Concert.
Really, really working for the Clampdown, which I just love that song. And they played stuff from obviously earlier albums like Give 'Em Enough Rope. But it was very good. And so that was the Clash at Brighton Top Rank Ballroom Suite in 1979.
Any kind of progressive rock gigs that you went to that you liked a lot? We mentioned Genesis, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm going to mention Genesis now. Again. But let me take you back now from 1978, 6 years backwards, 1972. I've mentioned this before. Wimbledon Town Hall, which is about a mile from where we live, which is now a shopping mall, but then it was just like the Civic Hall there. Absolutely tiny, people crammed in, or it's just full of prog fans, and it was incredible. They played virtually all of Nursery Crime. They played some bits and pieces of Foxtrot and Trespass. But they were just wonderful. Musical Box. I think it was Musical Box right at the end where Phil Collins was just so bashing about. I think one of his drums came off the hinges and everything like that. So it was a very, very moment. It was a few years, and we just sat there just in awe of these musicians and everything like that. So
some good prog.
And so that's Genesis, Wimbledon Town Hall, Merton Civic Hall, September 1972. And now the best gig I've been to. 1975, June, I think it was June 21st, maybe, but it was certainly mid to late June.
Yeah.
Wembley Stadium, 80 degrees, or shall we say 30 degrees Celsius, 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Elton John, the Beach Boys, the Eagles. There was a band, a prog folk band, Stackridge. Chaka Khan was there, and Joe Walsh was on the set, but he was playing in the Joe Walsh band.
Yeah.
He wasn't in the Eagles then, because obviously Bernie Leadham was their in the Eagles then, and as the day and the afternoon progressed, I mean, due respect, Stackridge were good, but you know, like first band and everything like that.
Yeah.
And Chaka Khan was very good, and then Joe Walsh band came on, and that was a leading indicator of where this incredible night was going to go.
Yeah.
He was incredibly, and I love a track of his. Turned to Stone, or something like that. And anyhow, it's on one of his solo albums at the time, which was really good. And then after that, the Eagles came on stage, and it was still blisteringly hot, and they just played everything, you know, One of These Nights, Desperados from the first album. I mean, they just played all these things, and they were incredible. And I just thought, this is one of the best gigs I've ever been to. It can't get better than this. It did, because afterwards the Beach Boys came on.
Yeah.
And when I say they completely blew the whole place, they came on, and I think the first number was Wouldn't It Be Nice?
Yeah.
And the whole of Wembley Stadium got up and started dancing.
And singing.
And they just sat there, bog standard, playing all these great numbers, you know,
Yeah.
in my room. They didn't actually play God Only Knows, which is my favourite song of theirs of all time, but they played all things like, you know, The Trader and not Surf's Up, but there were a couple of tracks from Surf's Up. They also played just all their hits, you know, Fun, California Girls. It was just, my abiding memory of Mike Love in the front of the stage, and he had this gold sequin jacket on,
Yeah.
and the sun hit it, so it was literally sending out sun rays and everything
Yeah.
like that. They were incredible, and I just felt, in a funny sort of way, a bit sad and sorry for Elton John, because he was a headlining act, and people were just so blown away by the Beach Boys. People actually were starting to go away, which I think is massive disrespect.
That is, yeah.
Because he came on, and he was absolutely honest to people. He said, listen, I've just released this album, Captain Fantastic and the Dirt Brown Cowboy. I'm playing it tonight, you know? And he started playing the whole album, which is a great album. Man, it's a great album.
Yeah.
Somebody Saved My Life Tonight and things like that. Some great songs. But, you know, not a lot of people, but there were people leaving. And then when he came to the end of it, he just, all right, here we go. And then it was Saturday's Nights, All Right from Fighting, Candle in the Wind, all the hits and everything, like Pinball Wizard and everything like that. But, I mean, it was great. I mean, Elton John was fantastic, but I have to say, it was that day belonged to the Beach Boys.
Yeah. All right.
And that'd be it. I have to say this, but one of the least memorable concerts I ever went to was when I was 9 years old, and I went with my brother. My cousin took us to Hammersmith Odeon to see the Beatles. And it's not because I love the Beatles, but it was terrifying. Two of us, two 9-year-old boys, as my cousin screaming her head off, and
everyone else.
Girls fainting and everything like that. I mean, we didn't really get a chance to see, see them, but we didn't get a chance to hear them because of it was just their music was just muffled down by all this screeching.
But you heard the support band.
Yeah, well, the support band, you know, was fine, you know, Freddie and the Dreamers and, you know, the Tremolos and things like that. But the Beatles, you know, I think even at the age of 9, I was looking forward to seeing the Beatles. So. Yeah. But it was, I have to say, Neve, that was the least memorable gig. And it should have been one of the best gigs.
That's the end of the video. So maybe I'll do one of these kind of videos of my favourite gigs, but I haven't been to as many gigs as you. So I'd find it a bit harder. But yeah, leave your favourite comments in the comments. I read all the comments. I'd like to know we would like to know what you guys thought of the video and your own favourite concerts. New video on Monday, as you know, and yeah, I guess that's the end of the video. See you later.
Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.